All right, Joel Embiid plays against the Pacers, drops 39. Looks like the Joel Embiid we all know and love. Let's check out his highlights, and we'll get to his stats here in a second. I do have it muted, or Adam Silver's taking me to prison. Joel Embiid is coming off of a little down screen. It's crazy for a 7-2 guy to come off of a down screen if y'all saw that. Here's Embiid down here. He has this guard set a screen from him. J Huff gets caught up, and Embiid rises up for the jumper there. He was missing a lot last game, but he still has, still has a three ball. He still has a decent mid-range jumper and a pretty good mid-post game when he is feeling healthy. Dribbles the ball all the way up the length of the court and just pulls up for a little free throw line pull up. It's still crazy to watch, a 7-2 guy move the way Joel Embiid moves. Just a little bully ball to a little step back right there. Hits him with the bump and gets right to his spot. It's in the mid post, gets to his little Dirk Nowitzki style fadeaway. He still has a good mid-range shot. He still has really good touch on his shot. He can still get physical down low against J Huff. And off the dribble to his little mid-range pull-up that he loves to get to. Against J Huff again. That's nasty. That's at the end of the first half. He gets into his dribble package and kind of steps back for the three. He looks like he can still move very good in bursts. It's just a matter of if he can give that for you, give you that production, not so much all season, but just for half the season, then be healthy come playoff time. But he did look good in bursts in this game against the Pacers. Step back is nasty. Ball handles are unbelievable for a 7-2 guy. There it is in the mid post. Gets all the way down low. Still a big, strong man. Again, it just comes down to if his knees are good to go for any given night. That's a strong move. J Huff is 7 feet tall. Joel Embiid made him look small. Just pops out for the open three there. Paul George is back in there as well. Run that back. And they gave him the and one on that play. I guess on the replay you'll see he did get bumped a little bit. Joel Embiid has always been pretty notorious for his foul drawing skills. I guess it was a little bump, I think. They give you one more angle. On this angle you can see. Yeah, I mean Thompson kind of bumped him with his thigh. He didn't have the angle, so I guess it's an okay call. It's a little roll. He's still a gigantic man, so he can of course finish down low when he gets the ball in the right spots. It's insanely quick dribble there. Embiid just gets the quick stick back. I think they gave him an and one on that one as well. Oh yeah, he got the shit fouled out of him on that one. It's a good offensive rebound and stick back. Old school Joel Embiid stuff. That's just beautiful. That little turnaround in that mid post, kind of right elbow area. He can still impact the game, of course, when he is healthy. It just comes down to if he'd be able to stay healthy long enough. Again, like I said, not for the entire season. They don't need him to be healthy all season long. They have Edgecomb and Tyrese and Paul George that are able to kind of carry the team and at least get them to the playoffs. But then it's a matter of if Joel Embiid can fit with these guys and be healthy enough during the playoffs. But they do win against the Indiana Pacers. First things first, it is the Pacers. They're actively trying to lose games, so I won't take too much away from it. But Joel Embiid looked good as far as how he was moving around out there on the court. Last game against LA, he was 4 for 21. This game, he's 12 for 23. He was taking kind of the same shots he was taking in the last game against LA. The shots were just going in this game. He hadn't played. Yeah, I mean, he played November 8th, and he just got back on the 30th of November. So he's kind of starting to find his rhythm again. and just kind of get back into the flow of the game. But he's 12 for 23, so he's 52% from the field. He's 2 for 8 from three, so that's not great. He does settle for a lot of threes now because he just doesn't want to put all that impact on his knees and take the beating down low, because it's going to beat him up, needless to say. But Philly just wants him to be healthy during the playoffs to give him a chance, so they don't want him to be putting an insane amount of effort in during the regular season and beating up his knees, beating up the rest of his body. He is 13 for 18 from the free throw line, so if you want to say he did a good job, if you want to say he was flopping or foul baiting, he did have a couple in there, but a lot of these were actual legit free throws. He's a giant man, and there's not much you can do except foul him once you're in a bad position defensively. But he's 72% from the line, so he got 13 points at the free throw line. I heard people saying, just like people always say about any player that is a foul drawer, foul baiter, I heard people saying, "Oh, Joel Embiid wouldn't have had a good game if it wasn't for all these free throws." Take away the 13 points from the free throw line, he still has 26 points on 52% field goal shooting, so he still would have had a good game without the fouls. But yeah, he has the 39 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists, the 1 steal, and he just looked good for this game. This is the game he came back, was again on the 8th. So on the 8th, that was the last one he played. He came back on November 30th against Atlanta. So this is the Atlanta game. He had 18, 12, 16. Then he had the 39-point explosion in this game. In that Atlanta game, he was 43% from the field, 39% against Golden State, 19% against Los Angeles, which was a really bad game against LA, needless to say. After the LA game, I was thinking, a lot of other people were saying this as well, I felt like Joel Embiid is just in the way of his team. He's just holding back VJ Edgecomb and Tyrese Maxey's development. Tyrese kind of just came into his prime, but he can still develop even more and still get better at basketball. So my opinion was kind of just try to get rid of Joel Embiid if you can. I don't know if he'd have any trade suitors. I don't think he has a no trade clause, if I'm not mistaken. But I guess there's still some teams he could have an impact on. I can't really think of one off the top of my head, to be totally honest. It's just with his injuries and his knees, he's just hard to fit in out there, to be honest. Tyrese Maxey did miss this game. Again, it's against Indiana. They're an actively tanking team, but Joel Embiid did his thing. He scores the 39. They get the win in the game. But when Tyrese is out there, VJ Edgecomb, Paul George, when everyone's out there, he just seems to be in the way. You saw the highlights in this video. A lot of his stuff comes from the mid-range. He likes to spot up, beyond the three-point arc, and then, he's kind of in Tyrese and VJ Edgecomb's way. And then when he gets down low to try to get those post feeds again, he's just clogging up the paint down low. And he's honestly more effective in the mid-range and on the perimeter than he is down low these days. But I feel for Joel Embiid. I always say it in my videos. I've heard from stories in the locker room from teammates of Joel Embiid's. He'll take off his big ass knee brace, and his knee is as big as a cantaloupe. It's as big as a volleyball. His knee is just swollen 4 times the size of a normal man's knee, and then they drain it or ice it down. They do whatever they do for Joel Embiid, and he tries to get back out there to play again. And he does the best he can with his banged up knees. I think he has, it's like a degenerative condition in his knees, so his knees are never going to get better. And let me know what y'all think. I feel like he's honestly just in the way of his team at this point. Joel, at this point, how old is this man right now? I want to say he's about 30 years old, if I'm not mistaken. But he's still, I want to find out now. He's not extremely old or anything like that. It's just with the miles on his body and just with his knee issues, it's just hard, really hard for him to stay healthy and impact the game. Yeah, he's 31. He turns 32 in March. So, I'd be kind of looking at him like I look at Anthony Davis. And Anthony Davis has way more to offer. He stays way more healthy than Joel Embiid does these days. And even with Anthony Davis, he's 32 years old as well. Just like Joel Embiid's about to be turning 32 in March. And even with AD, I have a lot of concerns with his injury issues. And, I just worry about him staying healthy and his longevity. And AD's way more healthy, and he's impacting the game at a higher level than Joel Embiid at this time. And if I'm a Philly fan, I don't know what they're thinking over there, but I'd be thinking, let's try to trade Joel Embiid, get him out of here, and then see what we can do with Tyrese Maxey, see what we can do with VJ Edgecomb. I just don't know. I just don't know how Joel Embiid affects the game at this point. We have to give it the rest of this year at least. I want to see him in the playoffs and see if he can stay pretty healthy for a playoff stretch with VJ Edgecomb and Tyrese Maxey. See if he can develop some chemistry with those guys. And then who knows? Maybe it looks awesome. Maybe Philly plays really well in the playoffs. If Embiid is healthy and he can give you a good first 2 rounds, maybe get to the Eastern Conference Finals and still play well. If he can play off Tyrese Maxey and Paul George and VJ Edgecomb to kind of take some pressure off of him, and just let him score in his little spurts in his certain spots there. I can still see him being effective, but just with the history and all the injury issues I've seen with Embiid, I'd be trying to get off of him, especially with how he clogs the paint and just makes things harder for Tyrese Maxey when Tyrese Maxey is out there. Then on the defensive end, he can still protect the rim at an okay level, but you just drag him out on the perimeter. You make him get switched out into a guard player, and he just can't move his feet and keep up with these ball handling guards in today's NBA. But please like and subscribe. I'm trying to get to 7 million subscribers. Let me know what you think about Joel Embiid. I still think he can contribute on any given night. I just don't think he can give you even a healthy playoff stretch where he's impacting the game. I just think his health, his injury concerns, his lack of lateral movement at this point just wouldn't translate to the playoffs at this time in his career. But we'll see y'all next time though. Peace.